All right, let's break down some of your throwing biomechanics here. We're going to compare you to John to give us some feedback on kind of what we see at an NFL level. All right, so first we're going to see top of the drop, back foot in the ground. Looks good. Looks a little squatty to me. We'll be able to confirm this from the back angle when we show you the back angle video too. But kind of placed directly under you, which is nice. But we kind of this looks like your knee's pretty far out in front of your toe, right? So that knee's kind of driving out in front of your toe, and you're going to notice how that's going to set us up for some other little inefficiencies as we get going forward, right? John, it's placed right just behind his back hip. That creates just a little posting leverage where you could drive that ball from. If you have no forward momentum without a hitch, then you're going to create this big slide, which you see, right? So your hip gets here, and then watch you push off. And as you push your hip off, even though you create really good rotation, look at where your pelvis eventually throws from. What we kind of want to see is no more of a shift than one half of an angle by ball release, right? So that's number one. You see this big pelvis slide. The big pelvic slide could create a lot of inefficiencies of throwing. You actually clean up a bunch of them, and there's some really good things in your throwing motion. So, number one, too much slide, too much on your tippy toe. If you see your back foot cleared there, you're probably just a pretty strong kid because normally this position would be really hard to throw from, right? Like you're standing on your tippy toes. Every single NFL football player you're going to see is going to have all cleats in the ground. And you need to have all cleats in your ground because your lead leg block is your stable base to create rotational forces against, right? This is your fulcrum. It's your vector that you can create this vector change around because it's holding nice and steady. When you're up on your toe, your heel can pivot, and when your heel pivots, you lose a lot of stability and rotation. Now, interestingly, on this, you basically hold it off for a long time and jump backwards, but then you'll see, right, like as all this force pulls back, what happens? You pivot open, and you pivot open, and then you put all of your heels in the ground. Ton of loss of force and a ton of loss of accuracy because you're jumping up and then you're pushing over. So let's start with the really good though. So really good, we initiate rotation. You see this ripple in your shirt. These are things we don't normally see at the high school level. Same ripple in your shirt you see from John, right? That's creating rotation of your pelvis before your torso. That's what's known as hip shoulder separation. Love that. But you want this hip shoulder separation to happen when your whole front foot's in the ground. So you want a nice firm plant of that front foot. That's number one. Number two, once that rotation starts, you never decelerate your pelvis until you create this ground reaction force where your knee works back. Yes, we want your knee to work back, but we want your knee to work back where you're grounded, like in John's video. You're jumping. Once you jump and you extend too early here into full block, what happens is you're going to create this inverted C. This is like a outfielder pulling a ball to home plate or a pitcher throwing home. You're going to get yourself caught in this inverted C. If you're a pitcher on the mound, great way to throw a fastball with nice vertical ride and break, or basically get on top of a fastball. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to drive our elbow forward and climb our arm and then karate chop down and karate chop down. What we want to do is we want to throw through our strike point. And if you can notice when John's here, it's chest, back foot in the ground, front foot stabilized. Whereas you're jumping up in the air, feet are almost, this foot's almost off the ground. This foot is off the ground. You're jumping in the air and then pulling down. And it's not until after ball release that you finally get a lead leg block in there. So for you, number one, a little bit better stack position. I think just getting a little bit more weight back and a little bit chest over toes will stop you from feeling like you need to jump. Two, get your full foot in the ground so you could create a full lead leg block. And three, don't worry about getting yourself up and down on the ball. Worry about as you're throwing, getting yourself low and high through the ball. That's how you create a nice strike point and consistent release and accuracy.